Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I've been on vacation. Went to Toronto and did a little bit of Niagara Falls, zip lined down the Canadian side of Niagara Falls with my family. I gotta say, it's, firstly, zip lining is something completely new to me. I've always been pretty risk averse, hence my trading style is very data driven. But I can say it was an absolute blast. The ride itself wasn't that long, and the view of the falls and the surrounding cliffs were just amazing. It was just a really quick ride, and it was pretty expensive. So if you ever get a chance to go up to Toronto, you might want to swing by Niagara Falls and consider doing a zipline ride. Let's get started though on reviewing our tickers. 2 weeks is a long time and a lot has happened in the market. So let's see how my predictions from back then have transpired or not. Let's kick things off with triple Qs. All right. I talked about here, I'm looking at my notes here. This is kind of on the fly analysis here. I talked about this zone of baiting, okay? I said, hey, watch out, because they're gonna bait us. And I think it is still in play. You can see here some bearishness building, okay? I'll put this in red. And that's because we have continued all-time highs. I'll move this over. And the market and the market makers will continue to proclaim the good news that it's just up, up, up. But I'm very cautious about that. You know me. So I'm going to slide this over to the right. And you'll say, well, hey, John, you've been sliding it to the right for a while. Well, look at this, okay? If you're not yet positioned long, and I know many of you have been long triple Qs and ETFs related to tech. Great, I'm very happy for you. I'm just suggesting that maybe it's time to take some profit. Take some of your position and close it. So if you have, for simple math, if you have 10 shares, then close half, right? Protect your gains. Because on this channel, it's all about protecting our gains, okay? So overall, we can see bearishness developing quite intensely up here, even though price action continues to go up. So really, downside is the general move. I'm going to annotate here the 200-day, just kind of swipe it like that, because it's really, excuse me here, as I make it blue. That's just kind of how I annotate my 200-day. There you go. It'll go something like that, okay? There may be a bounce here, and it might come down, bounce off of here, and then resume its downward move. But the change is there, okay? I'm going to put a, what is it, the emoji here, the shark, okay? Let's put the shark here. All right, so I'm informing everybody that the sharks are telling one another, all right, guys, time to get out. Okay, they're going to take their profits. In fact, they're going to give the narrative of something, that is really bad for the markets, like, I don't know, high interest rates or uncertainty about stability in parts of the world, something like that. They'll push something out, and that'll get people to dump their shares for liquidity. Let's go over to Microsoft to see how that ticker's been doing. You can see for, let's see, since this February through March, end of March timeframe, I talked about growing bullishness. You see this? The annotation down here, and I put the whales. And I made all these arrows up here to show everybody that that is the likely direction, up. In fact, you can see it's been doing it, okay? So I'm going to clean this up a little bit so that we don't have so many annotations on the chart. But you can see that the change in momentum did play out. What I'm going to do now is draw the triangle. So let's go ahead and draw this, what is it called? Bearish triangle. Okay, so it'll go something like this. Let's make it black. And maybe I'll pull this down a little bit. Okay, so it goes something like this. And the other part of the triangle, let's just duplicate this. Let's see if I can just clone it. There you go. Let's go something like this. All right. So you can see how I drew this. Okay. All right. So similar to this bearish flag triangle, price is coming down. Here's another triangle. Okay. So the question that you should ask me is, all right, you drew this triangle. Where is the momentum? So let's zoom into the RSI down here. And I'm going to zoom in a lot. Okay. So I want you to look at this point here and this one here. Okay, so this point here coincides with this green candle here. Okay, so that's April 22nd. It is higher of a point on the RSI than this guy over here, okay, which is 3 days ago. Okay, so this is bearish momentum. Despite the change in direction, despite the upward movement in price, but the momentum is to the downside. That's a key piece. So now I'm going to zoom back out. Okay. And I'm going to put a shark. So I think now it's another change in momentum. All right. So I don't think there is much more upside for Microsoft. Hence, all of triple Qs. There won't be much more upside. So with that, I'm going to put some area of resistance here. So we can see at the moment where I put resistance. I put resistance right here. Okay. That was at the gap entry. You can see that prices come up here and push through the 200-day and got rejected. Okay. So 3 days of selling. So I'm going to put some resistance. I'm going to move this resistance maybe up about here. They may attempt one more time to push past this price point here, which is about, let's see, what is this? This is about 465, 467, okay, right here. They may push price up one more time, right, up into this area right here, and then get rejected. So I'm going to draw the arrow here. So it's possible they'll push it up here, get rejected, and then boom, okay, it's selling time. Not hammer time for those who are old enough to understand that, but selling time. Okay, so what does that mean? From a big picture standpoint, let's go to the weekly chart where price is going to break. All right, so now I'm going to say, if this is the line here, let's make a thick line here. If this is the flag, okay, the wider flag, much bigger flag, let's make it a 4, and let's make it purple just for visibility. All right, so if that's the flag, I'm going to duplicate it, okay, clone, and stick it to where we think it's going to break. Let's say it breaks right here. Okay, if it breaks there, look at this. The target looks like the gap entry down here at about 300, 296. Okay, so that's from a weekly perspective, and that's also guessing where price will break. Okay, but the point is the momentum has changed, and it is to the downside. So much luck to those who haven't yet taken profit on this move here. Take your profit and then wait for the right entry to come back in. Because right now, the selling is about to resume. Okay, maybe give it another week. Price will attempt again to come up here, and then the selling will resume. Okay, that's Microsoft. Over to one of the safe haven plays, gold. gold miners. So I had annotated before this flag here, bearish flag, down to this support line down here, okay? And you can see that my annotation was resistance up here. Price did come up over the past couple of weeks, hit this as resistance. It is now selling, and it's now playing on this 200 line. That's fine. There is a little bit of a gap here. I'll just annotate it. Not big, for me, it's not a big of a deal because really the resistance is gap right here at the top edge of the gap. And I'll move this down here. Will it come back up here? Probably not. So I'm going to delete this guy. And in fact, I'm going to draw another triangle real quick. Let's see if I go like this. Something like that. And let's make that a thinner line, just so that it's not so... All right, there's some resistance up here. So I'm going to put resistance at the top edge here. Okay, so that's about 93, 94. And then this trend line may be legit, okay? So you can see that here, circle here, all this price action here, respect to the line. So price may come up, boom, 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 and hit this line somewhere along here and get rejected as well. Let's make this red. Red. Give me a second here. Technical difficulties. 2 weeks away from charting. Take some time to get back into it. All right, but overall direction is to the downside. So I'll just move this over to the right. It's just playing out as I have been doing. Okay, there may be support down here, but until we get there, right? Until we get to this trend line here. Okay, so further low prices for GDX. Let's look at Bitcoin. It's been a while, 2 weeks. Let's make this smaller. 2 weeks ago, okay, let's zoom this out. See all this orange? My annotation is to the downside, okay? Everything is downside. I talked about resistance up here. Price continues to behave as expected. Okay, you can see how it broke down here. So with that, yeah, it's just playing out as I suspected. It will come down to this support line here at 58. I made the call of 58K back in November. Okay, so go watch my video in November. It's just taking time to unwind, and indeed it's doing that. So the momentum is and continues to be to the downside. Let's see here. What I'm looking at, I'm going to zoom in here real quick. I'm looking at this right here, this day, which is 6 May, and then this one here, 10 May. So the price action is upward. Okay, you can see that in the price, okay, from here, which is 81, up to here, which is 82. But the momentum is to the downside, okay? There's the downward momentum at resistance, which is the 200-day, and they sold it down. So look at that, boom. In fact, that's, yeah, that's some decent selling there, okay? And the selling is not done. So it just takes time for it to come down here. Once it comes down to this 58, then the next zone is 42, all right? So you heard it here first. I've been talking about this for a while. So if you're long Bitcoin, then, take some profit. And if you want to go long, then wait. It's not time to get in. American Express here. I put this big whale here, okay, back in March to say the momentum has changed to the upside. And indeed, let's take a look if there's a change, okay? Now, we do see price action going down, but I don't see a change in momentum. So my prediction for the upside remains unchanged, okay? So this whale is here, even though price is down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this, let's see, bottom edge of this line here, goes something like this. Okay. So that's the lower edge of the triangle. Today's selling is below this edge, and you're going to say, well, hey, they're selling it off, but I'm not convinced. The momentum here is to the upside, okay? So I'm not changing my tune just because price action is doing something different, okay? So what does this mean? This means if you're wanting to go long American Express, let's see where we are at the moment versus, so between here, where price closed, and this support line, that's about 4.3%. And where this is up here, it's about 12%. So yeah, it's a, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 ratio. So it might be a good entry. If you can get it a little bit further down here, if price would open a little bit lower tomorrow, take an entry down here, then your target to get out is up here. That's a good trade. For $1, you might get $4. So consider that. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have my, CPA or anything like that, or my broker license. I just like to give you my opinion. Okay, this is all opinion. So this might be a good entry long. Let's look at LGEN. Dang, this one is, look at this red candle. So it's been 2 weeks since I've looked at charts. 2 weeks, my prediction was upside with this whale. You can see that the upside has taken place. And then on this day, which is, what day was this? This is 3 days ago, Monday the 1st. Look at this. Price opened up here at 299 and sold down the entire day to 267. That's a huge sell day. And why is that significant? That's significant because the big fish are not allowing it to continue upward, okay? I'm going to, give me a second here while I extend this trend line. I want to look at this a little bit more carefully. I'm interested in the price action. So I'm going to extend this, there you go. So it moved up on that day, on the 1st, even above this trend line, okay? And that trend line, let's go to the weekly real quick. That trend line is this one right here. It goes all the way back to here, which is November 24. So that's a legitimate trend line. In fact, one could draw another upper side trend line, something like this. I'm just kind of freehanding all this real quick. I'll make it black. And let's see, something like that. Okay. And what I did was I looked at, let's pull this up here like that there. So from the weekly perspective, support here, resistance all along here, resistance. And then what happened here? Resistance, okay? So the market makers are not wanting price to get past this zone up here. I'm going to clean this up just a smidge. So this is a heavy resistance zone. All right, so why is that important? That is important because price attempted to push way through, okay, on the open. That's part of the manipulation on the open. Sold it straight down, and now it's down here at the top edge of the 200, of the gap fill, which is resistance in my mind, okay? I don't see much more upside, okay? So the play, which I thought would happen, I thought it would come down here, hit support, and then come up to hit this trend line, okay, which is this resistance. But in fact, price moved up, hit resistance, opened up, closed below it. It's still below this, okay? So my annotation, my next direction for this is based on momentum change right here. All right, you can see on the RSI, bearish momentum. And if you compare it with the price action, okay, so let's look at this day, 17 April, which is this guy here. 17 April. Wow. Let's zoom in, I'll show you. Here's 17 April. Okay. Price close right here. Okay. All right, which coincides with this RSI right here. And the next one I want us to look at is this candle here. So between 17 April and this candle here, they're practically the same. Okay. But it is a momentum change. So to me, it's almost an attempt to break through this one, and it didn't. Okay. And they said, well, we'll try it again on the next day. And look at this. Look at this wick. So all of this is indecision. All of these days. The price range here on this day to here, that's a 6% price, 7% price move in a day. Okay. And then for this day, on the first, which is this one, this green candle, that's also about 6.5% price swing in a day. And then on this one, the red one, also a 6% move. Okay, they attempt to go up and it keeps getting pushed down. And then they did it again up here on this big red candle. In one day, this price moved, 11.5% in a day, about 11%. So what does this mean? There's no conviction. There's no buyers that want to keep it up. So I'm going to annotate this to the downside. This is a selling. Okay, so if you want to join the sharks, I'm going to put the shark here. So let's put the shark in here. If you want to join the sharks, it's going to be selling season. So this played out. It finished. Came up to here. Now it's selling. Okay. All right, you see that? I put it there. Selling is coming. Boom, boom, boom. A lot of selling. Okay. All right. Over to Northrop Grumman, defense stock. Let's see. All right, so a couple weeks ago, I put the whale, a small whale, but I put a whale because I saw this bullishness here. And now I still see more bullishness. Now you can see that a couple weeks ago I said, you know what? I think what they're going to do is they're going to push it down into the gap fill, okay, and then to push it up. So what did they do? Okay, they're in the gap fill, okay? Exactly what I predicted. The momentum continues to grow though. Look at this. On this day here, let's look at this red candle and green candle, this 2 days, okay? So all of this right here is right there. And even though today's price action is lower, the momentum is upward, okay? So this is all positive momentum. Bullishness, for those who want to go long, I'm putting a bigger whale. This is a good signal for those who want to go long Northrop. I'm going to put a bigger whale here. Okay, there you go. I'm telling you, good entry. Now, where's their support? Well, there's likely support at the bottom edge here. Okay, and they might wick it just below. So let's just be realistic. They need people to panic. They need to get people who don't have conviction to get out. So I'll put one line there, and then I'll put a line, oops, excuse me, as I clean up my charts here. And I'll grab this, I put it just below. They might push it just below like that, okay? All right, they might push price over the next couple of days like this. They'll dance around here, the lower edge of this gap, the gap fill, the bottom edge, and then push it up, okay? So you heard it here. In fact, you heard me talk about it a couple of weeks ago when I drew this right there. The target, though, is to this purple line and to the 200-day. Okay, there's the 200-day. So this is the target up here. That'll be resistance. Somewhere up here. Okay. All right, there you have it. So good luck. If you can get an entry down here, that would be pretty good. I'm going to take a look. Let me zoom out real quick. I might take an entry long. Let's take a look. All right, so This is on the weekly. There is some support down here, and then even more support down here. But at the moment, the next real zone of support, give me a second here, yeah, is the gap fill. So if it gets past this lower edge here, what is this? This is 515. If it gets past that, like further down with some decent selling volume, then really I would close the trade, get out of it, take a loss, small loss, because the next real area of support is 484. And that's quite a bit down. So from the lower edge, from this lower green down to down here, right, 6%, whereas going up here is about, yeah, much more on the plus side, all the way up to here, about 16%, okay? So 6% down, 16% up, you know, I wouldn't want to eat this loss here. So I'd close my position long, okay? All right, so that is Northrop. On to the other LMT, Lockheed Martin. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so Lockheed, the behavior is a little different, okay? A couple weeks ago, my annotations were all to the downside. I talked about a little bit of bullishness here, which I felt was only the price action for the flag. So here's the flag. Okay, so it's played out the flag. And, you know, would I adjust the flag? Yeah, I could adjust it a little bit like this. And I will. There you go. There's the flag. And you can see that price has broken down. All my annotations were to the downside. You see all the arrows? Okay. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit because it looks messy. So let's just remove this one. Okay, let's look at this a little bit more. And what I did was, when I drew this flag, I also I cloned the bottom pole, flagpole, but I only put it here from an arbitrary standpoint. Now I'm going to move it over to where price actually broke beneath the flag. So it goes right here. Okay. So, all right. So what does this show? This shows that the overall move may come down to this point down here, which is about 415. So my annotation remains to the downside for Lockheed Martin. Today's price action here is very peculiar. It's a indecision candle, but look at this. The attempt to reclaim support of this trend line got rejected, sold back down, okay? I think price will continue to dance at the bottom edge of this, right here, bottom edge of the flag, okay? So price may come up, meet resistance here, but the overall direction is to the downside, okay? So don't go long. This is not the time to go long Lockheed Martin. You know what? We love this sector because everyone's interested in it. So how is Raytheon behaving? It's the same, okay? There was a little bit of bullishness, but not enough for me to put the whale, because each of these tickers behaves a little bit differently. But what we can see is when the flag broke, Raytheon attempted to reclaim it here. I'll just move this over to show. There you go. So price broke underneath, came back up, and spent many weeks, a couple weeks, attempting to reclaim this trend line here, okay? Reclaim this. But it didn't. It kept getting rejected. So these are all rejections, okay? Rejected, rejected, and then now you can see prices continuing to fail. And now this spot here, 172, is resistance as well. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit and add a line of resistance here. That's resistance, okay? So what does this mean? Yeah, let's put the shark in here. They're selling it off. Let's see here. Actually, where does the shark go? Would I put the shark in? From a consistency standpoint, I won't put it in. It was over here. The shark was over here. But from here, it's just playing out the flag, okay? So the next zone, the next area is down here. So price is going to continue downward to this support line down here of about 149. Okay. Over to Exxon Mobil. Okay. For the past couple of weeks, price is essentially moving sideways. Talked about price moving downward down here to the support line down here at 123. It's moving sideways, but there is no change in the direction or momentum. It's all, yeah, it's just playing out this bait, how they got everybody to buy in, okay? So, yeah, don't go long. Right now is not the time to go long, okay? So I'll just slide that over. No change in Exxon Mobil. Over to Whirlpool. This is one of my very few long convictions, okay? I talked about this whale here, that the target is up here to get, if you were to buy in, get out up here about 85. I'm still sticking to that prediction. Okay, there is no change in the momentum. In fact, this lower price point here on this day, this is 19 May, compared with over here, which is 13 May, or this one here, 11 May. This is price going down, but momentum, if you zoom in here, you can see momentum continues to go up, okay? So I'll extend it like this. So no change in my prediction, still to the upside. In fact, I'm still long Whirlpool myself. Yeah, so let's move this down here. This is all support here. And let's move the flag a little bit. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if this is the right. I'm not going to draw the flag. I had the flag drawn here, but let's remove the flag. Right now it's sideways price action along the support line. And if price gets above the support line, I do think it's a really good opportunity. Safe move to go long, okay? So you heard it from me first. Okay, so that ends the review of the tickers, and I want to talk about a question one of my subscribers asked about, hey, do you have a Discord account? I don't know much about Discord. What I understand is Discord permits us to communicate more freely, and it may be an option that I need to consider more carefully. Let me know if I should use Discord, and I would like, perhaps more than one of you to inform me about that, because over the past couple of weeks, I've been on vacation, and there's no easy way for me to send a message out, like a text, to say, hey, I'm on vacation, or take a look at this ticker, instead of doing a full-up video, because when I'm on vacation, I just don't have the setup nor the energy nor the desire to share my time with all of you, because I'm sharing my time with my family. So let me know if Discord is a good option to communicate with you all, and I'll consider it. Yeah, and if you have a ticker you'd like for me to review, leave me a comment as well. Give me a thumbs up if you liked today's video. I know it's a long one. And as always, good luck with your trades.